He actually seems like a nice young guy. Now, he's probably bullshit, but I don't really care because it's a funny story. And so we have set a time, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I will be talking. I don't want to use the name he gave me. We might use a pseudonym, but I will be talking to the young gentleman who hacked my X account. How did I do it? How did I maybe get my X account back? Maybe. What a saga. Now, I am comfortable in saying the process that I've taken to get this account back in totality is perhaps one that has never in the history of the world been done. I may have developed a new method in dealing with hackers that has never been tried before. And I don't know that it's successful yet. I don't know. I've rolled the dice, and I'm here to tell you all about it. As far as I know, there's only a couple people that know. My wife, who's in the chat. My wife is very pissed off. I'll give you that clue. So let's start with who the real villain in this story is. Is it Coach Mim? Is it Coach Mim's Nigerian associates? No, it's X. There's a lot of blame to be passed around. Number one, me, because I apparently did click on a phishing link. Ooh. I think there's also blame to go to the hacker. I hope everyone could join me with that. I feel some blame should be placed on the individual who hacked me. But also I have to take some blame. I clicked the link. X, though, I have to say, now listen, I'm an Elon supporter. I am. I think what he was doing at Doge was great. I think him buying X is possibly one of the most important political and cultural moments in my lifetime. So I like Elon. There are things about X that are certainly, I think most of what he's done is for the better. People like me would have been censored previously. For me, X is the premier place. If you tailor your likes and dislikes and who you follow, it is the premier place to get the news. With getting my X account hacked, I have never seen a company that their support was less helpful. And I suspect the hacker knows that, which is why hacking X accounts is good. So just to go through the details of what happened, I could find the specific account, but it's one of you bastards. One of my supporters, and I forget who, messaged me. First off, please still don't click on any links. But what it was someone sent me, I can't remember who it was, but it was someone whose name I recognized from the chat. And their X account sent me a message, was like, hey, I started streaming, and there's this contest for this local podcast for small streamers to come up and co-host. Can you vote for me? And foolishly, I clicked it. And then it took me to a place, and I clicked some more. And I didn't, even when people said after I got hacked, did you click on any suspicious links? It didn't even occur to me. I was like, no. And then I had people messaging me, hey man, did your X account get hacked? Are you asking people to vote for you for something? And I was like, oh shit, that looks familiar. And I was like, no, don't click that. So I realize now. So that's what happened. I click on it. I'm doing the extravaganza, I think, Monday. Because I'm sort of the temporary co-host in the extravaganza, usually Andrew's co-host comes up with the stories for the show. So most of the time it's Jake, and he's coming up with stories for the show, and then Andrew reacts to it. If it's Jake and I, Jake comes up with the stories, and I react. If it's me and Andrew, I come up with the stories. So I just use my X account. And so I have my X account up, and I'm doing the extravaganza. If you don't know, the extravaganza is Andrew Wilson's channel, The Crucible. It's his exclusive show on Rumble. He does 4 times a week. So I was co-hosting it, and all of a sudden, my X account just is like, it says error. I can't use it. And I get a weird phone call on my phone. Okay. I don't answer. And so I keep talking about the story. I'm trying to keep the show going on. And a text message comes up from this weird number, which I would later find out was Nigerian. And it says, do you want your X account back? So I respond, sure. And they put, send me $200. And they show me a screen cap of basically them on my X account. And I was like, go fuck yourselves. And so then I tried to deal with it. I had that image, and I went through all the X support and filled out the paperwork you're supposed to. I still had a stream key through X, through StreamYard, so I could live stream to X, but I couldn't get on my X account. They changed the password, changed the email account, and then it set up a two-factor authentication so that I needed a random code that was generated in order, even if I could have guessed the password. So I was fucked. And basically, X got back to me and was like, yep, it looks like this happened, but in order to best service you, there's nothing we could do. So try again in 7 days. And I was like, really? So that's where I was. Now, the big loss of my X account, like I said, is as follows. One, I have paid to be verified, so I put money in the X account, so it sucks to lose that. Second, I also paid for Grok. Now, I still had access to Grok temporarily, but eventually when my computer, like, I don't know what it does, reloads or whatever, I would have lost access to Grok as well, because it's connected to my X account. So that would have sucked. Third, it sucks that my name's being used to push shit. Enter Coach Mim, apparently a crypto genius that's trying to bilk people into crypto shit using my name. That fucking sucks. And it's spamming people that follow me. That fucking sucks. That's where I was, and I was like, okay, I mean, it's not the end of the world. So I was gonna try again in 7 days to contact X. And then today, instead of a text message, I got a message on WhatsApp from Nigeria. And that's where we enter today. I decided to take a different approach, is what I decided. So, at least temporarily, I now have access to my X account. I don't know how long. Now, does anyone want to take a guess of what happened? It's a multi-step process. But starting from me receiving the WhatsApp text message, I bluffed them. I have not bluffed them. That is not what happened. Did I pay Nigerians to get temporary access to my Twitter? That is partially what happened. Did I scam the scammer with a chargeback? I did not. The scammer was very smart. There was no possibility of me to do a chargeback. Am I adopting a Nigerian child? I am not. My Google search history came back and bit me. No, wasn't that. I did pay money. That did happen. Brian Shapiro, click the link you sent him. Maybe. Don't know. They did not threaten my safety. I think I went in a direction that I don't know that anyone else ever would have. The original negotiation was $200, and I got them down to 50. So I whittled them down to 50. And at first I just started to tell them, I was like, I don't really need my X account. Which is true. I don't really need the X account, right? And so they were like, well, how much would you pay? And I was like, nothing. I just don't care. And they called me, and I got to talk to the Nigerian, who did tell me he was Nigerian. And I was like, hey, man, I don't really use it, to be honest. And he's like, fine. It was a quick call. He's like, then I'll just sell it to someone else. I was like, okay. And then I got an idea. I messaged back and said, hey, forget about my X account. I'd like to talk to you about something unrelated. And I thought, no chance. And the dude called me back and was like, what? And I was like, I run a politics show and I'd love to interview you on the show. And he's like, what? I was like, yeah, you don't have to give my X account back. I just want to talk to you. Why don't you call into the show and my audience will get a kick out of it. You beat me. You scammed me. Why don't you call in? And he's like, click, hangs up. And my wife's like, you fucking idiot. 10 minutes later, he messaged me back and says, $100. And I was like, no, I'm not going to pay you. Nope. So then like 15 minutes later, he calls me back and he's like, seriously, man, how much money would you pay to get your account back? And I was like, look, man, it's not even a matter of the money. I'm going to send you the money and I'm going to look like a fucking fool because it's clear I'm an old man and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And I'm telling him all this. I'm like, you already got me. I'm an idiot. I clicked the link. You got me. I'm not even mad. I'm like, I kind of find it industrious. I'm not upset. Good for you. But I'll really look like an idiot if I send you money on top of it and don't get my account. And he's like, no, you'll get it. You'll get it. And I was like, yeah, but I don't even know how to send you money. What, you want my bank account, my social security number? Like, I'm not going to do that. And he's like, no. Use WhatsApp. You can buy Bitcoin and then send me the money on Bitcoin. And I was like, I've never done that. So I was like, I'll tell you what. You talk me through how to use. I was like, first, let me do some research. So I researched and everything said you're not supposed to give money to the scammers, but that they can't like reverse hack your WhatsApp through Bitcoin. That would be safe. The only problem with it would be they're probably not going to give you your account back. And when they don't and you try to get your money back from WhatsApp, they're going to say, fuck you, no. You shouldn't have tried to give money to scammers. Okay, so I get back to him. I'm like, all right, let's try it. So this guy, he's on this terrible phone connection, and he has a very thick accent. And I did ask him. He said he was Nigerian. And I'm like, all right, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. You got to talk me through this. So the deal was, I'll send him $25. Then he'll give me my account. I'll change the password. I'll set up the two-factor authentication. Then I'll send him the remaining $25. That's the agreement we came to. Okay, he says. So I can tell he's getting frustrated because I can barely understand him through the phone connection and through his accent. And I'm an idiot. So I've never bought Bitcoin, especially through Cash App. And so I'm struggling and blah, blah, blah. And I finally get it. And I send it to him, and he's like, all right, let's wait, see if the money comes through. So I send him $25. He gets it all set up. He gives me the password for the account. I shit you not. The password for my account was hacker123. So that's a bit of a sting. So I type in the password of hacker123. Then it brings it up to where the two-factor authentication. So I either have to have a backup code or he has to use the authenticator app to generate a code. And he's like, okay, send me the other $25. And I was like, no, bullshit. That wasn't the deal. Oh, and I forgot. I was like, look, man, I know you're going to fuck me. But for $25, it's a funny story. I'll send you the $25. I don't care. But I ain't sending 50. Because that makes me look like a fool. So we get to the end of it and he's like, yeah, you got to send me the other 25. And I was like, no. I'm not sending you the other 25. And he's like, well, you have to, or I'm not going to send the password. And I was like, why? I think I've been quite reasonable in this whole situation. You should just send it to me. I promise I'll send it. And he's like, nah, I've been ripped off before. And I was like, who do you think's more trustworthy in this situation, me or you? You're literally scamming me. Like you hacked my shit. Why would I just believe you? And he's like, yeah, probably. He's like, but still, people have screwed me over. So then I was like, I could hear people in the background. And I was like, are you religious? And he's like, yeah, I'm Christian. I go to church. I was like, you're Christian? He said, yeah. I was like, I want you to swear in your soul right now that if I send you this $25, you're going to give me my account. And he's like, I swear I will. And I was like, I hear someone in the background. Is that like a loved one? He's like, yeah. It's like, swear in their life that you're going to send me back this account. And he's like, I swear I will. I was like, I would ask some questions first. So I asked how old he was. Now, I'm not going to say how old he was, but he's a young man. And I was like, wow. And I was like, so what's up? What do you need the money for? And he's like, yeah, I couldn't really make out, but he basically said to live. And I was like, it sucks. I was like, what's your plan, man? You want to you gonna start a career? You eventually getting out of this game? Do you want to move out of country? And he's like, no, I like it here. I want to stay in the country. But he wants to start a business. He's saving up to start a business. And I was like, listen, I think this is fucking pretty unethical, but it's not the worst thing you could do. I was like, it's not like you moved and got a Somalian daycare or some shit. I don't think he got the reference, right? I was like, all right, here's the deal. I was like, I'll send you the money. I know you're going to fuck me, but I'm going to do it because it'll be a funny story to tell my audience that this Nigerian kid ripped me off twice. He stole my account and then got $50 from me. So I was like, I'll do it, but I know this is coming. And I was like, to be honest, it is funny. Like, it'll be funny when you fuck me. And he started laughing. I was like, uh-huh. I was like, are you going to do the interview? He's like, yeah. Just send the money, I'll do the interview. I was like, I don't believe you. That's bullshit. There's no way. There's no way you're coming on for an interview. Now I don't believe you. So I thought about it for a minute. I was like, all right, fuck it. I'll send you the $25. So I did the whole rigmarole again, sent him $25, and he sent me the backup code. And it let me sign on to X. And he's like, all right, man, you're going to want to go in and change your email account and change your two-factor authentication. I'm hungry, I'm going to eat. Talk to you later. Okay. So I go to change my password. I can't because he changed, or I did change the password, but I could not change the email associated with it because he had changed it within 48 hours. So I had to wait 48 hours from the time of changing my password before I could change the email address associated with it. or set up the two-factor authentication. So right now, technically, I have access to my X account. I can do what I want with it. However, anytime that this dude chooses in the next 48 hours, he could go to sign in, click that he forgot his password, and it'll send it to his email, which he could then go through the whole process. So I'm in a state of limbo. So I message him back. I say, hey, it won't leave me change the password or the email. He calls right back. He's like, yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, I forgot. Before that, I was like, listen, man, I just want to say thank you for being a man of your word. You did send it. I appreciate it. And next time, instead of hacking me, if I could help you with something, send me a text message. Don't hack me. We'll see if we could work something out. So he calls right back, and he's like, yeah, it's because I changed the email associated with it. He's like, so, it's not going to work for 48 hours. He's like, I'm not going to screw you over. Trust me. Just wait 48 hours, and then you'll have your opportunity to set it up, and I won't have access to it. It's okay. Then he says, are you serious about doing that interview? I said, absolutely. I'd love to interview you. He says, well, how much would you pay me? I said, I will not pay you. However, if we live stream it, people will send super chats in. And if we reach the goal that I have set for that day, I will send you $50 worth of Bitcoin. He says, thank you very much. Then proceeds to tell me his real first name and starts talking to me. He actually seems like a nice young guy. Now, he's probably bullshitting, but I don't really care because it's a funny story. And so we have set a time, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I will be talking. I don't want to use the name he gave me. We might use a pseudonym, but I will be talking to the young gentleman who hacked my X account. You will have your opportunity in the chat to ask him questions. Now, I don't know how well it will be able to hear him. I asked him if he has a computer and could use StreamYard, and he said maybe he'd look into it. Otherwise, he's going to call in with his phone to a Google Voice number. I don't know. It was very hard to hear him, not just the accent, but his phone connection. So we're going to try our best. But there you have it. We're going to get our chance to interview the Nigerian hacker that hacked, who may personally know Coach Mim. So buckle up, everyone. Wednesday night. Now, I don't know, if hacker gentlemen, if you're watching, I have to let you in on a little secret. I intentionally picked Wednesday night because that's after the 48-hour period. So if he fucks me and he takes the channel away, then I'm not going to interview him and send him $50 in super chats. So I don't think he's going to, because I already told him, I was like, I don't really give a shit about the account. So you're never going to get money from me again on that. But you could potentially, and who knows, maybe he'll be a regular caller. We'll get someone to call in regularly. Set up some collabs.